As the local government elections draw closer, there are concerns about possible resurgence of political violence. In recent weeks, there have been reports of killings linked to political contestations, especially in KwaZulu-Natal. Tonight, we have invited the Minister of Police, Bheki Cele, to tell us about police plans to safeguard the lives during the upcoming elections. Good evening and welcome to Unfiltered. I am Aldrin Simpier. This evening, we're also asking you, do you trust the police to ensure your safety during the upcoming local government elections in November? Let's welcome the police minister, and as soon as we have the police minister on, we'll have a chat with him. You know, there's one of the stories that the president spoke about last week during the launch of the ANC's manifesto, where he spoke about the killing of Tsepo Mutaung, who was an ANC councillor, shot at least 20 times. And the police, when Bheki Cele went to visit the family of Tsepo Mutaung, he said that they know the names of the suspects. So hopefully this evening we'll be able to get an update around that. And also remember the incident that happened in Inanda with that drive-by shooting where ANC members were having a meeting to elect who will be standing for the ANC during the local upcoming elections. And drive-by shooting, people drove past and 3 women were killed in that incident. Also, we'll try and get an update around that. Remember that the Minister of Police, as well as the Deputy Minister of the Deputy Minister of Intelligence in the presidency, Zizikoto, was at Inanda, also trying to find and get an update around that particular situation. There's also issues relating to the SABC itself and some of the work that SABC is doing to ensure that they safeguard the local government elections. Remember that when it comes to the elections, what we normally see is protest action that takes place in areas such as Vuwani, which are constantly being referred to as hotspots. Is anything different this time around? And if you compare the 2021 election cycle to the 2016 election cycle, is that this year it is very different because, number one, you have COVID-19, so you have the COVID-19 restrictions that have been put in place, and SABC will have to make sure that the law is enforced when it comes to the COVID-19 restrictions. Then on the other part around it, there's also the issue that deals with the question around the July unrest. Is there a possibility at all that we could see a resurgence of that insurrection, well, alleged insurrection, that the president had spoken about? We'll have that conversation with the minister just after this. And welcome back. We're in conversation this evening with Police Minister Bheki Cele as we discuss the issues relating to safety and security ahead of the local government elections. Minister, good evening. Welcome to the show. Let's start off here, Minister. Looking at the meetings that the security cluster would have had ahead of the local government elections, how are you feeling?
Good evening to you, and good evening to the viewership. Indeed, it's not just a question of feeling, and it's a question of preparations, as you have said, that we have had meetings in preparation for the elections that will take place on the 1st of the next month. That includes the following meetings, the main one taking place on Thursday again, as we have several of them, both overall meetings of the cluster and the specific meetings of the policing entities, especially on those areas that are not very stable, especially your KZN province, your Gauteng, not all of it, but the Tshwane area and some other areas that would be Eastern Cape, Free State, Northwest, and with an emphasis on Western Cape.
With an emphasis on the Western Cape, let's quickly then touch on KZN. What's the biggest concern there?
KZN, the biggest concern is what has happened. As you know, that a few weeks ago, the people were shot and killed at Inanda, especially at a place called Bambai, by the people that were drive-by shooting in a political gathering. After that, there was an attempted murder of one councillor or the candidate at KwaDukuza. There's been another attempt there after that one. Those would be the main ones. And the other problem that we're facing, especially in rural areas, it will be places around about Mtonjaneni, that is Melmoth, and the hostel, especially in Wamashu, where there are competition of independent councillors and councillors from same organization that might be that might fight, there might be conflict. So there are those areas that we're looking at, especially around KZN.
Yeah. So with the incidents that you just spoke about now, those seems to be incidents relating to leading up to candidates who are nominated to stand on to stand to be voted for. So now, when it comes to the election itself, on election day, are there any concerns that you think that could fuel up in KZN?
Well, indeed, it would be folly of us if we don't think that way. But most importantly, is to prepare for it that is prevented. You'll remember that on the registration days, there were issues where some people were blocking the gates of the schools, where there were some protests that people did not want some other stations to open. That is pulling us close to the understanding that there might be issue on that particular day, especially few days before the actual day, where there will be special votes and all. We have looked Andrew, around the country, the VT voting stations, and we have realized that out of 23,000 of them, almost 20,000 will be of the low vote, and they'll be of the low risk, and then medium risk is 2,782, and 286 are of the high risk. Unfortunately, those high risk will be in few provinces. KZN and Gauteng will be Eastern Cape and Western Cape. So there will be an emphasis on that. We have a generic approach. For instance, the approach is that all low risk voting station will have 2 members of the South African Police Service. The medium will have 4. The high risk will have 6. Depending on the assessment, there might be more than that, so that we cover all voting stations in the country in preparations of coming of the day, but more particular on the day.
Yeah. So what we've realized when it comes to KZN specifically is the July unrest. Are there any concerns at all that probably this time around we could see another flare-up or perhaps an attempt to undermine this democratic process?
Well, indeed, our lessons were learned in July, and we are better prepared. You remember that after that July, there were other threats, Andrew. There was that Monday, I think it was going to be 23rd, Monday, August, where everybody was making a call to say what you saw in July was like a Sunday picnic. And that made the preparation. Well, it didn't happen, but we know that we made our preparation, which could have been part of it. So we are better prepared. We are on the alert, working together. As I've said, that the Justice Cluster has had several meetings. The net joints, the operatives themselves are working much together, especially the 4 core departments of the cluster: your police, your defense, your state security, justice, and others that we work with, like Home Affairs, to make sure that everything runs smooth on the day. The offices are open so that there is no delay on getting the ITs if necessary. But also we work with IEC to make sure that things that are inside the voting stations, the IEC supported by the police, is taken care of outside. police are responsible, and reminding people still that, by the way, there are still COVID protocols working on all those things.
Yeah, and we're going to touch a bit on that COVID-19 protocols after the break. But just quickly dealing with the Inanda incident, have there been any arrests there?
Well, unfortunately, we would not call it arrest, but 3 people have been picked up for questioning. 2 of them have been released. 1 is still there. We hope that it will lead us to the final arrest and proper arrest on that one.
Okay. And coming to Gauteng, the councillor that the president of the ANC also spoke about, Tepo Mutaung, and you went to go visit the family as well. Any arrest in that matter, and what's the update on that investigation?
Well, the Tswana is giving us a problem, and I don't know why they had to learn these bad lessons from KZN. We are there. The DP was there today. I'm there on Wednesday with the top brass of the South African police to both the Mamelodi, which seems to be very much problematic at the present moment, and Mabopane, where the person was killed. Indeed, nobody has been picked up there, but as we say, that the police have requested a little bit of a space pursuing what they believe is a correct channel, is a correct way of doing it, and finding the person that, as they do find that person or persons, they will be getting a correct person.
What's the problem with Tshwane?
Well, the problem with Tshwane, it will be more of some intra kind of conflict. You can't rule it out that there are questions of the question of people not satisfied with the processes, especially the nomination and appointment and selection of the candidates. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, that comes immediately in the broader issues of criminality in Tshwane. It doesn't start now, Andrew. It starts with a gentleman that was called Keke, who has been running amok in the community, especially around the community of Mamelodi, with his group called Boko Haram.
Let's pick up on that, Minister, just after this break. And also, we heard from the Deputy Secretary General of the ANC saying that they've also raised some of these issues with the security cluster. We'll hear more from the Minister just after this. And welcome back to Unfiltered with me, Aldrin Sampier. This evening we're in conversation with Police Minister Bheki Cele as we build up to the November 1st, the local government elections. Minister, earlier on you were speaking about the broader issues when it comes to criminality in Tshwane.
Yes, broader issues. As I was saying, the arrest of one gentleman some time ago called Keke, who was running amok there, working with the group of criminals called Boko Haram and some other individuals, hijacking the genuine businesses of the people in that area. So you begin to see the amalgamation of criminality and politics, where criminals, they want to put their own candidates so that they can run the government from within. It's not a new phenomenon, Andrew. Maybe the experience that we've gained in other corners of the country, like in KZN. In KZN, if you look at things, 2011 and 2016 was worse than now as we're going for elections, because so much effort has been put there. Special team was put under General Kumalo, called the Political political murder team or political assassination team. And that team has done a good work. About 284 people have been arrested there. 9 of them have been sent to life, or 22 of them more than between 10 and 50 years. That has removed that group of people that have a similar intentions like the Tswane one. So it is on the score that we are putting a similar team that will concentrate on Tswane in both visibility, but also investigating all those murders, including the last murder and murders that have happened before, and those that are terrorizing people there, and make sure that people are intimidated so that they don't go to vote.
Sure. So, Minister, how do you think the police would be able to do those things if, for instance, at the pop crew CEC, you spoke about not having trained any new police officers since 2019 or 2020?
Well, as I've said, that we are borrowing the experiences that we have taken from other parts of the country, especially KZN. Indeed, Andrew, our numbers have dwindled, but you remember that we are supposed to train in 2020 7,000 of the South African police, a new blood coming to the organization. That has not happened. I think this year we're supposed to do about 5,000. That has not happened. But that is an entry point, young, energetic. Experience is still there because places like KZN, Meda, Gauteng, Medas, you will have to send your very matured, a very seasoned group of investigators, as it happened in KZN, put some resources, but also put the visibility so that they are able to respond and the people can see that they are responding on their behalf. Indeed, sometimes people, they raise the issue to say the local stations, police stations, are not very much helpful because some of them, they are in cahoots with the criminals there. That's why then the provincial commissioner and the deputy national commissioner policing will be with me so that we can be able to put new teams to work with the communities there.
Minister, then just quickly speak to us about that particular approach, and how do you see the proposal that you're making around the command center, which would then also include the Metro Police? Because we saw the Democratic Alliance protesting and saying that the minister is trying to hijack local enforcement in Cape Town.
Fortunately, all metros except Western Cape were working very well with the Metropolis as a multiply forces. All three metros in Gauteng, one in KZN. Even in Cape Town, Andrew, we're working very well with an established metropolis. All these metros have put resources to make sure that the metros grow, become strong, work together with the South African Police Service, except in Western Cape, where they've created an amorphous structure that is called law enforcement, and they've reduced seriously the power of the legit structure called Metro to create this structure that is it's a structure you don't understand, that will report to them and work parallel with the legit constitutional and legislative structure. So they know that what they are doing in Western Cape is wrong. They make the noise that they're not supposed to do, so that they hide their ill intentions of making sure that the policing there is not happening, because all those law enforcement are not found in the township. They are found in the very affluent areas in the city center. When they go to the township, they only go for eviction, not to protect the people in the township.
Thank you so much for your time, Minister Pegitele, the Police Minister, as we have a discussion leading up to the local government elections on the 1st of November. Thank you so much for choosing Unfiltered with me, Aldrin Simpier, this evening. See you again next week Monday, same time, same place, right here on S3.